Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Catalfamo. I'm the sales engineer here at eBridge Connections. Today I want to take you through our integration solution for NetSuite. Today's webinar is entitled Cloud-Based Accounting Integration for NetSuite. And what I'd like to do is take you through a brief history of eBridge Connections as a company, and then what I will eventually be doing is posting an order into NetSuite using the eBridge Universal Integration Platform, and then we'll look at a few things that make the eBridge integration platform universal. So we'll look at what that actually means. So eBridge Connections has been around since 1993, and we were founded on doing an EDI integration with about 40 different accounting and ERP systems. Since about 6 years ago, we started offering integration to e-commerce shopping carts, CRM applications, and any other type of proprietary system that you might want to connect through the eBridge API. So we've been doing data integration for quite a while. That's the only thing we do here at eBridge, meaning we don't get involved in actually deploying NetSuite. We don't configure people's web stores. We don't install and configure accounting and ERP systems. We're data integration experts, and that's squarely where we sit in the data integration equation. We have a staff of about 45 that focus, as I said, solely on data integration, and all of the development is done in-house. So we don't outsource anything, and we are certified partners and have close relationships with all of the ERP packages that we support, as well as the various shopping cart platforms and EDI trading partners. We have a wide variety of experience in a number of different industries, and because of that, we have a fairly rich toolkit of solutions that we can use to employ against your specific business process. So how you use your accounting and ERP system may not be the same as someone using that exact same package. They may be in a different industry. They may just have different internal workflows. We have tools and solutions to accommodate just about any workflow that might exist out there. That's something that we actually pride ourselves on being able to do, which is walk into a situation where the workflow and business process is fairly rigid, and we need to be able to accommodate that, as opposed to deploying an integration solution where you need to adjust something on your side to fit what the integration does. So essentially what you're getting with an eBridge integration solution is all of the benefits of a custom solution, but without the effort and cost of a true custom development. We have all of the pieces pre-built, and it's just a matter of configuring them and deploying them in a way that is specific to your business needs. Again, quite a bit of experience in a number of industries and with a number of different accounting and ERP packages. I just want to put a visual on that by bringing up a diagram here. Working along the left-hand side from top to bottom, we have some representation by some e-commerce shopping carts denoted by the Magento, ASP.NET Storefront, Volusion, Viva Merchant. We support upwards of 20-plus shopping carts and are adding more almost on a daily basis. The second option there, or the second graphic in line there, says build a connection via the eBridge API. If we don't have a connector built for a particular marketplace, and it's something that's important to your back office process, we can actually give you the schematics and the documentation on how to transact data through the ePortal solution, should we not be building a connector for you specific to that application. So if you have a proprietary e-commerce shopping cart, or there's some other type of system that you want to interface with on your back office system, maybe it's an external billing system, maybe it's an external catalog that you use to manage inventory or something like that, and eBridge isn't going to build a connector for that because perhaps it's just a one-off, maybe you're the only people that have requested it. we can give you access to our API, and you can still transact that data through those systems to your existing eBridge integration solution. Walmart and Costco represent all of the EDI trading partners. We have literally hundreds of EDI customers, I guess you could call them trading partners, and probably thousands of EDI documents that we transact through our solution. If anyone's interested in our EDI offering, it is fairly unique in the space, based both on how we structure the architecture for EDI as well as our pricing model for EDI integration. eBay and Amazon represent a number of different marketplace solutions, I guess you would call them, that aren't necessarily branded web store like the first group of solutions up there, the Magentos and such. eBay and Amazon are, public marketplaces, I guess you would call them. You could also put Channel Advisor in that group, and there's a number of other marketplaces that we do business with. And then, of course, the last bucket represents the CRM applications like Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And all of those can transact through one universal integration platform with NetSuite. So what I'd like to do is actually take you through the NetSuite integration that we have using a demo account that we have. And I'll actually take an order, a Magento web store order, and I'll post it to NetSuite. So I'm going to exit the PowerPoint here for a moment. We're going to head over to our eBridge Connections homepage. And we call the online integration platform ePortal currently. So I'm going to access ePortal through this client login. And essentially, we would set up an account on ePortal for you, and that would be for your company, and this is how you would work with the application. I should mention that there's no reason you actually need to come in here on a daily basis. Any data coming from your web stores or going to your web stores will be transacted automatically. At least that's how we expect people will want it configured, so that's kind of the default state. I'm going to be focusing on orders coming from the web store going into Magento and creating a sales order. This is just one of the many touch points we have with NetSuite, and we're continually adding more as they're requested by our customers. The main area of interest right now is going to be under transactions. And we're taken to what looks a lot like web-based email, in that there's an inbox and an outbox and some other archive folders, which we won't focus on too much at the moment. Essentially, what we're looking at here are a couple of orders that are from Magento. We have a particular Magento order number that we can click on and see some details about that order. We can see that we're working with order number 25. This order is actually a fairly old order back from August 2011. If we scroll down, we'll see some information about the bill to and ship to for this order. And we have a couple of items on here. The first item has a quantity of 3 and a unit price of $55. And the second item has a quantity of 2 and a unit price of $10. So take note of those particular details. We're going to be tracking that through when we actually post this order into NetSuite. Heading over to NetSuite, let's actually log in and see that we don't have that order in there at this point in time. So go under Transactions, Sales, Sales Orders, and we're going to list them. So I've got this sorted by the order number, the NetSuite order number, and you can see the largest order numbers at the top here, and the most recent one is 211. And what I'm going to do is flip back over to ePortal, and I'm going to reprocess this particular order. When the order originally came from Magento and reached the ePortal integration solution, we automatically made it available to NetSuite, and we posted it as a sales order. For the purpose of this demonstration, I actually deleted that order from NetSuite, and I'm going to resend it manually. And that's really the best way that I could demonstrate this on a timely basis, so that we don't have to create an order from Magento and then wait for it to process and post in. So I'm actually going to reprocess this particular document, and it's going to ask us to confirm. And you can do this up to, I believe, 3 months out of the box with the solution. You can configure that to be longer if you wish. So that means all of the data is available in your account for that period of time. So if there's any issues in NetSuite, you can actually wipe it from NetSuite if you had to and re-queue it. Or if there's any details on the order in NetSuite and you're not sure where that information came from, then you can actually come in and look at the original order that came from the web store and get a visual on that before determining if any other action needs to take place. So this is just going to take a minute here for the order to process. I'm just going to refresh here. And you can see that the new icon changed to pending. So the order was in a new state for a few moments, and now it's pending, waiting for NetSuite to actually finish processing it. And we'll just wait a moment for that to happen. In the meantime, what we're going to do is eventually we're going to log into a different account and look at some other data from different applications. So we're going to look at an eBay order and some other EDI orders, and we'll look at what it means to offer universal integration. So I'll explain that a little more fully in a few moments. But as far as the ePortal navigation is concerned, you can do a lot of the things that you'd expect to be able to do in this type of view. Select the partner or the connection from a drop-down list and filter based on just those types of documents. If I change this filter to show NetSuite inbound orders only, so that's going orders into NetSuite, you'll see, for example, that the archive outbox will change the counter on that. Well, at least it should. With my demo account, sometimes there's some options that aren't set properly. But essentially, as you change your document and your partner that you're connecting to, in the drop-down, you'll see things like the counter change, and you'll see things filter. We'll see that when we log into my other account that has more data than just Magento NetSuite data. You can see here now that I've refreshed that inbox that we have a couple of new entries here under integration message and integration document reference. If I click on the document integration, the integration message, you'll see that we have some messaging from the NetSuite connector. So we've created a new order, number 213, and we see some other details that probably are not necessarily relevant for the moment. We use these internally, and as we enhance the solution, we'll actually expand this log information. But it tells us what function we actually performed on the NetSuite side and some other details that our support team could use to help troubleshoot any questions you might have. Down below here, we see the NetSuite company name that we posted against, for example, and some other details. Order number 213, as we saw in the integration message and the document reference number, is actually the order number in NetSuite. So when we head back over to NetSuite and we refresh this view, I'm just going to go to sales, enter sales orders, and list again. When this refreshes, you'll see that we have the NetSuite order number 213. And so really the solution is talking back and forth, and we push information to NetSuite. NetSuite pushes information and status updates back to us, and we display that in your ePortal account. So you can very easily and very quickly reconcile the fact that order 213 in NetSuite is the same 213 in your ePortal integration account. And here we have order number 25 from Magento, and in NetSuite we see that we've created PO number, or we've put 25 in the PO number field. Clicking on the details for the order, we'll see some of that same information that we saw in ePortal when we were looking at the item details, including the fact that it's order 25 and that we have a quantity of 3 at a unit price of $55 and a quantity of 2 at $10, just as we saw in ePortal. If we click on address, we'll see the bill to and ship to information that is the same as what we looked at in ePortal. And really our goal is to reproduce in NetSuite what you would manually key in if you were to take your web store order or your EDI order and manually enter it directly into NetSuite. So there's some other information in the order on NetSuite that we could call, I guess, optional information. It's not required by NetSuite in order to create the order successfully, but it definitely might be mandatory for your company and to your internal business process. Perhaps something like department or class, lead source. Those might be pertinent pieces of information that you need us to populate based on something coming in on the order, for example. So when we work with you to deploy a project like this, it's really about making the implementation yours. And as you can see, we know how to create a basic order, but there might be other information that you want coming in, so you just need to let us know, and then we'll accommodate you by putting in the appropriate mapping business logic. So that really demonstrates the order process of sending an order from Magento through the eBridge Universal Integration Platform and into NetSuite. The next thing I want to do is talk a little bit, very briefly, about the aspect of having universal integration. And I'm going to do that by logging into another account I have set up here. This particular one is dedicated just for NetSuite. I'm going to log in with another account here. And again, I'm going to focus on transactions. And this time, we see some other data here. We see an eBay order, a Walmart EDI order, Neva Merchant, which is like Magento in that it's a web store platform, Microsoft CRM. And all of these particular entities deal with their own proprietary format. So if we look at the document that we get from the various marketplaces, the key message here is that they're all going to be a different format. So this happens to be the eBay order. Here's the Walmart EDI. Neva Merchant looks different still, and so does the MSCRM order. So all of the data that we get into the integration platform is all different. And because we've built connectors for all of those, the really powerful thing about our solution is that we take the data from those proprietary entities and we convert the data to a standard format. And that standard format is what we make available to the integration piece on the NetSuite side. So if we look at the document out, that just happens to be the, from the point of view of the integration platform. The document in would be the untouched version that we get in from the marketplace. The out would be what the integration platform makes available to the ERP and accounting systems such as NetSuite. Clicking on the document out view, you'll see an XML format. And again, the key message here is that it's a standard format. So looking at the XML format of each of these in turn, you'll see that the structure is the same for each of them. The reason this is important for you is that Once we get integration completed, say for eBay orders into NetSuite, you can call us up and say, okay, eBridge, we need to do EDI orders into NetSuite. It's entirely possible that the integration that you're using for eBay is already done and configured and creating orders successfully, so that when you want to add another marketplace, we don't need to start from scratch and rebuild that integration directly. So, setting up orders into into NetSuite for one marketplace automatically sort of configures it for the subsequent marketplaces. There's very little work that we need to do on this end to add that and configure it for your account. So that's how we're able to call the eBridge ePortal a universal integration engine. We standardize the data and we handle all of the heavy lifting as far as the integration of the endpoints of the chain. So the integration to NetSuite and the integration to the various marketplaces is already done, and how we manipulate that data as it goes from one system to another is really what the integration projects at eBridge here entail. Right, so I hope that gives you a good sense of the integration between the eBridge ePortal and NetSuite, and explains a little bit more fully about the universality of the integration platform. I'm going to just summarize by reviewing some of the benefits of ePortal, being this is web-based, so you can view the data going between the systems from anywhere that you have internet access. All of the data is converted to a standard format. You can search and reprocess documents quite easily, integrate with any system you want. If we don't want to or cannot build a connector, if it's not practical, then we can give you access so that you can build a connector yourself. Data is available, I think, as I said earlier, 3 months by default and upwards of 6 months before we archive it offline. And we're constantly building and enhancing the integration solution. So I hope that gives you a good overview of the integration solution. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will follow up with you and explain our solution in a little bit more detail as it fits your specific business needs. I just realized that I did overlook the specific touch points that we offer for NetSuite currently, and as I said, we're constantly developing new ones. The touch points really being the business document we work with. Currently, we have orders and customer creation into NetSuite from the marketplaces, inventory and product information out of NetSuite. So, for example, you can create items on your e-commerce shopping cart directly from NetSuite, and shipping information out of NetSuite. So if you're processing an e-commerce order and you've added tracking numbers to the order in NetSuite, we can push that out to the various web stores and update so that the customer can receive an email confirmation with their shipping and tracking information. We have a few more in development, so please feel free to check back often with respect to what we have. And of course, if we don't have something that you need, let us know, and there's a good possibility we'll build it for you. The last thing I'd like to leave you off with is I encourage you to visit ebridgeconnections.com/blueprint to build your integration solution. That will allow us to understand what data you need to transact in which direction as a starting point for conversation about your integration project. It's a very neat tool. We've got a lot of positive feedback on it, and like I said, it helps us understand and visualize exactly what you're trying to integrate, and it will help you think through exactly what you need as well. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to send them through, but at this point I actually don't see any. Again, feel free to reach out to us through one of the methods that I have up on the screen here. And please check back on our website for any upcoming webinars and events. Again, my name is Mike Telfamo. I'm the sales engineer here at eBridge, and I want to thank you for joining me today. and I appreciate all of your time in going through our integration solution today.